Ladies, gentlemen, freaks, and everybody else, I'd like to welcome you back to the Irish Folklore and Mythology podcast. First off, I would just like to apologize for the lack of content and Celtic stories that I have not been putting up online the last number of weeks. But some big changes have happened. I've moved country and I've began a new job, but I'm still Irish to the bones, so this is not going to stop. This is something I love. This is something I've always loved, telling stories, learning about stories, and sharing stories. So I'm back, and let's do this. So the initial plan was to have 3 to 4 to 5 different classic horror Irish stories to put up online as part of the podcast. But alas, it just wasn't able to happen. As we all know, we all have our lives, we all have to work, we all have to do different things, so it didn't happen, so which was a shame. But it brought me on to a different topic. I watched different documentaries, read different articles, and did some research myself. And to be quite honest, what I came up with absolutely, it annoyed me, because what they stated was that All Hallows Eve was actually originated in either the British Isles or in different parts of Europe, which I can tell you right now is unadulterated bullshit, because Halloween has been and always will be an Irish celebration. It began here. The traditions, the beliefs have always been Irish. It enraged me. I was not very happy to hear this. Either people are ignorant to the fact that they do not know where All Hallows Eve originally started, or just a simple fact that they don't care. But guess what's going to happen? We're going to learn today. To start off, to begin, I just like to say happy belated All Hallows Eve to all my friends. I'm Cara. So anybody listening to this, I hope you guys had the most fun that you could. The feast of the dead is upon us, folks, and it still is. So no matter where you are, no matter what you did, I genuinely hope that you had the most fun possible. But as I did say, All Hallows Eve originated firstly and began in this beautiful mystical island that is Ireland. As I said, I watched certain documentaries with my eyes rolled in the back of my head. It was actually painful to see. It's absolute fiction. So Halloween, All Hallows Eve, and the festival of Samhain originally was a Celtic festival. Its beginnings were celebrated between 1 to 2,000 years ago, which is why no matter where you are in the world and you celebrate these archaic traditions once a year, know that they stem from Ireland. All Hallows Eve was a pagan festival, and this festival marks the end of summer, and it was again known as Samhain. And no offense to our English brethren and our English neighbors, the creation has absolutely nothing to do with you. Like many things, you may try, and you do try to make them your own. But sorry chaps, it is Irish through and through. Chucky Erla. Halloween's presence today is still nothing but complete magic. Lanterns, costumes, dressing the kids up, letting them go trick-or-treating, getting some sweeties, watching horror movies, curled up reading a horror novel. Whatever way you want to spend it, you should spend it that way because you deserve it. Today's versions of this ever-beloved holiday is still filled with rituals. Maybe not like the olden days where you would sacrifice your firstborn cockeyed dribbly child to the gods, but rituals important nonetheless. Bats, spiders, witches decorate our homes and schools. And, of course, decarved pumpkins. But do you know why we butcher these helpless vegetables with smiling faces? There is absolutely nothing Christian about these traditions and customs, as you may want to think, or as you may have been told. And I wonder who stole more practices, the Christian church or the English people? No, I'm only joking. You know, we love you guys. I love you too. So the carving of the pumpkin custom can be traced back to various different ancient traditions from all throughout Europe throughout the ages, a lot of which had absolutely nothing to do with Christianity whatsoever. In fact, Halloween is the result of hundreds of years of cultural mixings and recombinations, of blending of many different civilizations, old religions, legends, and practices. But hey, wouldn't be like a dominating religion to steal and mash together ideas for their own benefits, huh? The Celts, who lived over 2,000 years ago, they roamed, pillaged, and settled in now what is Ireland, the United Kingdom, and also recently archaeological finds suggested the north of France. The Celts were deeply mystical and religious people. They were very serious about their mythology and symbolisms. It was their belief in life and death. Druids, runes, spells, healings, and magic. And we are all familiar about the stories of the Celts to this day. Their most important day and festival was known as Samhain. Ireland! They all would celebrate every year on November 1st. This day was everything to the people. It was their new year. It marked the end of the summer and the beginning of winter, a time associated with death. The seasons went by as quick as our own, but very slow for our archaic ancestors. On the day of the new year, the Celts, our people, believed the veil that separates the world of the living from the dead weakens and becomes transparent. Spirits, demons, entities of good and evil crossed over from somewhere and for a brief time roamed the land of the living. In the darkness, when the days of barely any light but a simple fire, you would not dare leave your tribe, because if you did in the black of night, they believed you would be taken by the unknown, taken by whatever was waiting. October 31st compels the living to take precautions to protect themselves, no matter what, from the dead, these demons, these entities. The Celts would build huge bonfires and wear costumes made of animal heads and skins to protect themselves, to trick these spirits and demons that they were one of them. The tribal druids believed to have increased powers on such an evening, so the Celts would spend the day telling fortunes and predictions about harvests, romance, and the end of life. So, jumping a few hundred years ahead to the Catholic Church, and November 1st then became All Saints' Day. Christianity at this time was spreading throughout Europe like a disease, like that old ex-girlfriend. Old heathen and pagan rituals were outlawed and punishable by death. These mystical elements then miraculously turned into miracles and shaped to make the Catholic Church look good. And these stories of old ancient gods then turned into the story of Jesus Christ and God's justness. By the 7th to the 8th century, the robe-wearing, white-socked, sandal-sporting Pope Gregory III then designated November 1st as a time to honor All Saints. And as I mentioned, they turned it into All Saints' Day. But wait, there's more. This then changed by the second half of the 19th century, during the time when millions of Irish immigrants fleeing for survival because of the devastating potato famine in Ireland, which wiped out a third of the country. So a lot of our ancestors suffered and perished. Again, I heard and I read that it was due to the Irish Celtic heritage and particularly drawn to the Halloween celebrations. It was mostly them who helped spread the festivity throughout the New World country, America, which is only the half-truth. Irish people, mainly children, went door to door begging for food. They were turned away continuously, year after year, starving. But they eventually got cakes, and these cakes were known as soul cakes. And taking this as a blessing, they prayed for their deceased family members that died in the famine back in the old country of Ireland, and also those who perished in the ships that carried them to the New World. These children were terrified and haunted by the stories that if they did not pray after receiving soul cakes, that their dead relatives would be stuck in purgatory forever. Of course, not as bad as hell, but in purgatory apparently they were told their loved ones would still burn unless they said prayers upon prayers upon prayers to make sure that they got to heaven. And another fun fact, just to say, so I'm sure you have heard the term jack-o'-lantern. This was also brought by Irish immigrants to America. Back in olden times in Ireland and the Scottish Highlands, vegetables, whatever they could find, usually turnips, were carved with horrific faces during the night of All Hallows Eve, and they were placed in the windowsills of houses to help ward off evil spirits. Although America again made it their own and began carving pumpkins as tradition. So hey guys, I'd like to thank you for listening, and yeah, it's good to be back. Don't forget, health is wealth, positivity, do what you gotta do. Speak soon.